Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, June 27th. The time right now is 3:50 p.m. and it's about 22 degrees Celsius. And I'm here on Bloor Street East, and it has started to rain lately. It's been raining off and on all day. And that's a look to the east. And this here is Glen Road. And there's an entrance to Sherbourne subway station. And presently the Glen Road pedestrian bridge is not accessible. And that would be mainly due to the fact that it doesn't exist anymore. At least I don't think it does. They're replacing it. So once that has been finished, I think in over a year's time from now, you'll be able to walk over to the Rosedale neighborhood. But for this one, I'll be taking a walk around the perimeter and some of the streets that run through the Upper Jarvis neighborhood. But first I have to make my way over there. And this stretch of Glen Road is lined by Victorian-style homes on either side, and some pre-World War I apartment buildings on the left side. And this is in the north end of St. Jamestown, which used to feature a number of these Victorian-style homes. It was actually all part of what's known as Cabbagetown, but it was demolished to make way for this big, mostly high-rise apartment residential development. But fortunately, this little stretch of Glen Road was spared. And this is Howard Street. So I'll take this over to Sherbourne, and then we'll be in Upper Jarvis. And Howard Street here was named after John Howard. I believe he was a surveyor. I think she thought I was going to cross the street. In the 1800s, who later went on to gift a very large parcel of land to the city that is now known as High Park. There's a distinct smell of barbecue in the air. So Upper Jarvis is bordered by Sherbourne Street to the east, which is where I'm heading to, Bloor Street to the north, Jarvis and Ted Rogers Way to the west, and Wellesley Street to the south. Maybe I can make this light here. Hello? There's the Maison Seldy ahead, or right there, an old mansion. This area used to be full of mansions in the 1800s. It's where a lot of the wealthier folks in Toronto lived. So look to the south on Sherbourne Street. And this is now a restaurant that I've been to once. It's quite nice, but a little pricey for what it is. And it's been incorporated into this condo development. But the home itself dates back to 1882. And believe it or not, Ernest Hemingway once called it home, back when he was writing for the Toronto Star. At least I think that's true. It also served as an all-girls school in a prior life. So this is north up the west side of Sherburne Street. There's the main entrance to Sherburne Station. I've been meaning to try this place. It'll be closed Tuesday, June 27th. Dope. I was kind of hoping I could pick someone up, or pick some up at the end of this walk, as I was planning on circling back to this spot. This is on the north end of downtown, on the east side.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's it.
And this is heading west along the south side of Bloor Street. So this is the very northern end of Upper Jarvis. Well, the rain just started to come down a bit heavier. I'm going to be stubborn and leave the umbrella in my bag for a little while. Post Media is on the left. That's where the National Post and Toronto Sun newspapers are headquartered. The forecast did call for rain and even thunderstorms later tonight. I was trying to find a little slice of time when it wasn't raining to head out and record. And Rogers has put in a proposal to build a much taller tower on the site where that one is. And this is Huntley Street. And that is an on-ramp that leads down to Mount Pleasant Road. There's the headquarters of one of Canada's most evil corporations, Rogers. And in case you didn't believe me, there it is on the street sign, Upper Jarvis, established in 1824. Just making sure the camera lens is holding up. It seems to be good. So the north end of Jarvis Street was renamed to Ted Rogers Way after, well, who else but Ted Rogers? And I think these barriers here might be remnants from the Pride Parade that took place. It's like this whole side of the sidewalk here is barriered off. I'll just cross over to the other side. So this is the western end of Upper Jarvis. That's okay. And just south of the next intersection, well, Ted Rogers Way becomes Jarvis Street. I think I might have said I'm already on Jarvis. It's kind of ominous looking. You've probably heard by now. I was a little surprised to see it on the front page of Reddit's. Well, it was not only on the front page of Reddit, but also the World News subreddit. But Toronto elected a new mayor last night in the by-election. So congrats to Olivia Chow. And we're at Charles Street East. And there is where Mount Pleasant Road begins. This section of Jarvis really has kind of a nondescript feel to it. I think what I'll do is I'll make a left at this street and I'll head back over to Sherbourne. This is Isabella. That building is called the Massey House. And that over there is the Casey House. And that was built in 1875 for a clothing producer. But it later became the Casey House, and it was since expanded. And the rain has picked up a fair bit more. And that is a care facility for people with HIV and AIDS. I think it was originally classified as a hospice. There's the original building. So this is east on Isabella Street. And we can get a better look at the interior of this neighborhood, which is one of the denser neighborhoods in the city. I'm not sure of the population, I couldn't really find that. I think I found a real estate site that listed Upper Jarvis as having 10,000 people, but that seemed a bit on the high side to me. And this is the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario building. ETFO. Just a discarded mattress. Those are the Midtown apartments. Once upon a time, this area, at least along Yonge Street, would have been considered uptown. I guess at one point that became midtown, but of course now it's all just downtown. That's the Fraser College Toronto campus on the left. There's the Isabella Hotel and Suites. Wonder how much a room goes for in there. Okay, Gabby's in front. All right, it's back to Sherbourne. Let's head south here to Earl Street, which should be the next one. And then we'll head back over to Jarvis. Again, that's St. Jamestown on the left. And the camera lens seems to be dodging all the raindrops. Sweet. Well, I think this is Earl Street. I don't see any street signs to that effect. But you will notice it's a one-way street, and it will change directions at the next intersection. There's the Our Lady of Lourdes church parking. We'll be walking by that one towards the end of the walk. These are some gorgeous homes. And these ones, which were built much more recently, were kind of done in a similar style intentionally. I think they did a relatively good job of blending in the old with the new. And now Earl Street ends and becomes Earl Place and turns into a one-way street in the other direction. This is a traffic calming measure. And what this does is it prevents through traffic, which makes this area infinitely safer for pedestrians and cyclists. There's a little filter there for people on bikes to get through. I think this went in back in 2007. And before then, it was just one long street. I think I see a few drops hitting the lens. Get that off. And someone's huffy has seen better days. Whoops. Should I hover my hand over the camera to shield it? Oh, it looks like there's a development notice. These homes that don't look too old are located. Let's see what that's all about. All right, we're in umbrella territory anyways. 58 stories. The city needs housing, but what it desperately needs is affordable housing. So hopefully a good chunk of those will be affordable. Anyways, I'm going to pull out my umbrella here. I'll be back in a moment. Problem solved. So I'll head southbound Jarvis again until I get to Wellesley Street. Yeah, why is that bike just laying around there? Maybe she's looking to upgrade her wheels. There's the Jarvis Mansion events venue. I think that used to be known as the Bicycle Club, and that was owned by someone in the Gooderham family of the Gooderham and Worts distillery. And that home dates back to the 1890s. Well, I think that lady knows I'm looking at her, and she's yelling at me, but it looks like she's trying to walk away with both bikes. And there she goes with both bikes. She's yelling at me. What are you gonna do? Stealing a bike. Just stealing a bike out in the open. And on the left is a plaque for the diplomat and philanthropist Vincent Massey. This is a really nice old property, but the star here is the Keg Mansion, which dates back to the 1870s. I think it was at one point a University of Toronto building, but in the 70s the Keg Steakhouse took it over. There she goes, just got her free bike. Rumor has it that that property is haunted. Maybe she wasn't yelling at me. Maybe she was just yelling at herself. She's not a very prolific bike thief if she's just riding it around the area where she found it. So this is Wellesley Street. This is the south end of the Upper Jarvis neighbourhood. So I'll take us over to Sherburne and then we'll pop back up north towards Bloor. Wellesley Street has these semi-protected bike lanes. Wouldn't really call them protected. There's a painted line, but there are those bollards which are easily knocked over. It won't do you any good if a car veers into you though. Here is Wellesley Place, where I think it was here where I once picked up a graphics card off of somebody that I bought off Facebook Marketplace. Actually, I think it was this next one here, Homewood. Yeah, it was in that building on the left there. Well, I guess there's an entrance to that on the other side as well. And we're back to Sherburne Street. And it's time to make my way back north. I was thinking of maybe grabbing some food and doing a live stream. Maybe with this rain I won't bother. I don't really feel like the umbrella in one hand, the gimbal in the other. For an hour and a half or so. There's the Wellesley Community Center across the street. And it is Lord's Lane, which I think might have been called Wellesley Lane at one point. That's Our Lady of Lourdes Church, which was built in 1886 to honor Joseph Lynch. That was on the 25th anniversary of his appointment as Bishop of Toronto. I have no idea how I managed to remember that. Where I've got an umbrella in my hand, I can't cheat and look stuff up on my phone. It's a Roman Catholic church. And I think it's popular amongst the Filipino community. I'm going to cross here. Just because for the next block I already came south on that side of the street. That's Isabella Street coming up. I already walked along that maybe about 10-15 minutes ago. I was reading online, this is one of the worst reviewed Timmy's in the entire chain. Apparently the service there was having issues.
Eu fui. Eu não escutei. Me escutar. Não escutei. Ah, tá mal fazer.
We're almost back to where the Maison Selby is, but just south of that is the Cooper House, one of those old mansions I talked about earlier, but that used to be located a lot deeper into that plot of land. It was built in the 1880s, but it was moved not too long ago in the most expensive building relocation in Canadian history, I believe. It was incorporated into that condo. Ooh. We've got some thunder now. And it's back to Howard Street. So I'm just going to head up to Bloor Street here. It was barely raining at the start of this one, and now it is coming down pretty good. Oh, it is really coming down. But on that note, I hope you enjoyed this one, walking around Upper Jarvis. From light rain to heavy rain. Yeah, this has really picked up. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at JohnnyStrides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Yoink.